Hi, everyone. I'm going to be going through the stress PowerPoint. Originally, we would be going through this in class, but obviously I can't be there right now, so hopefully me going through this can help you. First thing, I'm going to list some statements if they apply to you. So if they are relevant in your life, you're going to kind of keep a tally on your hands. Okay? If you've had a parent passed away, keep a tally. If your parents divorced, you should have a tally. If your parents separated, which basically means they didn't legally divorce, but maybe they separated without the legal documentation. Maybe a close family member or a friend died. Parents were fired or changed their jobs. If your parent remarries. If your parents get back together, so maybe they separated, but then they got back together. Maybe your family member has a change in health. Maybe you were charged with a violation of the law. Do you have trouble at school? Maybe you got in trouble at school, or maybe you're just struggling in school. Start or change in extracurricular activities. So maybe you started or changed your routine. Maybe you changed schools. Maybe you had trouble with a teacher. Maybe you suffered personal illness or injury. Maybe you had a change in friends. Maybe you're in a new relationship. Have you went on a vacation with your family? Was there a major holiday? Okay, so those were a lot of statements that I listed. I only had 5 tallies. Obviously, some of you are going to have more than that. Basically, what I want you to do is I want you to consider how many tallies you had. Some of you might have had 2. Some of you might have had 5. Some of you might have had to use another hand because you lost all 10 fingers. All of the things that I listed on that slide are ways that we can cause stress in our life. Some of us might have had our entire hands full. However, we don't really feel stressed out. And then there might be some of us who might only have a couple of fingers, but they still feel incredibly stressed and overwhelmed. Basically, what we need to do is we need to learn effective coping mechanisms to help us manage the stress in our life. So what is stress? It's this physical and psychological reaction our body has to the challenges you face. So when something happens and we feel stressed, it's how our body feels and things like that. So some physical reactions, our breathing gets faster, our heart beats faster, our muscles get tense, our pupils get bigger. Those are physical things that happen when we're stressed. And then some psychological things that happen. Maybe we have impaired decision making. We aren't able to make effective decisions. Maybe we're overthinking or we're thinking about the same thing over and over again. Psychologically, we tend to think that things are far worse than what they really are. So what happens in our life that causes stress? Obviously, I listed those statements. Those are all examples. In class, we would do this causes of stress worksheet, but we're just going to kind of do it on the PowerPoint so that you can get the point. These are all things that cause stress in our life. They are puns. So I'll do the first 2 with you, and then I want you to kind of try to guess what they are before I give you the answers when you're viewing the PowerPoint. So first one, the word becoming is over the word weight. So becoming overweight causes stress in your life. That's the first one. The next one, it says hope in the future, but the font is small. So if you have small hope in the future, that's going to cause stress. We'll continue. I want you guys to try to guess these. So what's this one? You can obviously think in your head. You don't have to say it out loud. The word heart is broken heart. Next one. The word death is in the word family. So if you have a death in the family, that can cause stress. Next. The word feeling is down on the page. So feeling down, if you're feeling down, that's going to cause stress. Next. This says getting knocked, and it's up on the page. So getting knocked up, that means getting pregnant. Next. You can see it says bank balance. The bank balance is getting smaller. Decreasing bank balance, that's going to cause stress. If you're losing money, if you're not making money, you're losing it. The next one, the word mood is on swing. So if you're having mood swings, that can cause stress. This one's pretty hard. Most people can't get it. Congratulations to you if you can, so try to guess this one. Overworked. The word worked is over the word paid. Overworked, underpaid. So if you're working a lot, but you're not getting paid enough, overworked, underpaid. Next one. The word stress is in the word school. If you're feeling stressed out from school, that's obviously going to cause stress. This one. What's happening to the grades? They're dropping. So falling grades, dropping grades. Next one. The SAT scores is a low. So low SAT scores can cause stress. Next one. Growing responsibility. The word responsibility is getting bigger, so you're growing the responsibility you have. Next, similar to this one open up here, broken heart. The word family is split, so separated family, that would be divorce. This one's super easy. I hope you can get it. No friends. If you don't have friends, obviously that can cause stress. You don't have people to vent to. And then the last one, the word change is in the word residence. So if you change residences, if you move houses, is what that is trying to say. Okay. So how does our body respond to stress? That is the question. So what happens when we get stressed? We talked about those physical and those psychological things that happen. However, we will have two responses. When we're feeling stressed, number one, what we're going to do is we're going to fight. We'll stand our ground. We'll defend our position. We'll attack. We'll dig in. We'll persevere. Those are ways that we fight the situation. You do not have to physically fight to have a fight response. You are just defending the thing that is going on. The next is flight. And what flight means is you are giving way, you're retreating, you're discarding, removing yourself, giving up, giving in. So if there's something in our life that's causing stress, instead of fighting, staying and standing our ground, we are getting away from that situation. This video helps to show you like what happens during a fight or a flight response. So I'll play that real quick.
Have you run away from a saber-toothed tiger recently? Maybe you haven't, but the stress response you feel when you are late to work or the growl your stomach makes when you haven't had anything but an energy bar and coffee in the morning is the same stress response we had when we were cavemen. That stress response is called fight or flight. Grunk is a real-life caveman. He goes to work hunting saber-tooths and rabbits for his family. Unfortunately, the saber-tooth chases Grunk on occasion, and his physical and emotional stress levels go way up. When this happens, Grunk's body's intelligence kicks in to help him escape. His heart rate goes way up, his blood pressure spikes, more adrenaline is produced, and the body moves the blood away from the digestive tract and into the muscles, as digesting food isn't a priority at that moment. Grunk eventually does escape and rests at home, and after 15 to 20 minutes, his body resets and begins to operate normally again. Now, your body doesn't know the difference between running from a saber-toothed tiger or rushing your kids to school. Your body's stress response is triggered in both situations, so your blood pressure, heart rate, and food digestion is the same as Grunk's when he's running away from a tiger. These types of situations could happen every day in our culture. The difference between you and the caveman is the caveman was able to relax in his cave soon after he finished stressing out. So for the whole day, the caveman would stress the duration of a hunt, which would last maybe an hour. You, on the other hand, have to deal with the stress of racing your kids to school, traffic, work, relationships, and everything else that life constantly throws at you. Plus, add in the constant chemical stress that comes from the unhealthy foods we eat, and it's like you are running from the saber-tooth all day long. The solution is to build your own cave. You have to build your own cave every day, and it means finding some peace in the pileup of traffic while driving to work. It means going to bed on time instead of staying up late binging on your favorite TV shows. It means taking some time to go outside and do some relaxing work instead of locking yourself up in your office. Otherwise, this chronic stress will open you up to most diseases because your immune system will tank and a lack of nutrients that your body needs due to not being able to digest your food properly. Add to
All right, I'm not going to go any further in depth with that just because I think you can kind of get the point. But the thing I like from this video is it's talking about like the fight or flight response. Obviously, the difference between like getting chased by a tiger, yeah, but that is something that stresses you out. And there's things in our life that stress us out. And it's kind of saying like you need to create your own cave and learn how to cope effectively with those things. So I'm just going to test your knowledge. We would do this at school, but obviously. So I guess you can just think about it. But in class, if it was a fight response, you would do this. If it was a flight response, you would do this. I'm going to give you a situation that would cause stress, and you are going to say if the response was a fight response or a flight response. And also, look at my dog. So cute, right? Okay. So, first one, Carla reacts to her parents' fights by going to speak with her school counselor. Is she dealing with the problem or is she avoiding it? Fight or flight? Fight, because she is dealing with the issue. She's going to speak to someone about it. Alfina decides to avoid the stress of studying for exams by taking a 3-hour nap. So she's taking a nap. It says she is avoiding the stress. That would be a flight response. Next, Yolanda's mother gives her an unrealistic curfew before a big party, so she yells at her mother. She is having a fight response. She's dealing with the problem. It might not be effectively, but she is confronting the situation. Oops. Some kids at school are picking on Jason, so he retreats to the school library during lunch and reads fantasy and science fiction books. He is retreating. That would be a flight response. Amy is not getting along with her boyfriend, so she escapes the situation by drinking alcohol and doing drugs. Escapes tells you she's getting away from it. That would be a flight response. Abdul's parents are having marital problems, so rather than deal with the problems, he spends extra hours in the gym. Rather than deal with them, he's avoiding it. It would be a flight response. Phil is failing at school. He's so angry with his marks that he schedules to meet with a tutor to bring his grade up. That would be a fight response. He's dealing with the problem. He's scheduling a tutor. And then 4-year-old Jessica's mother passed away. Since her mother's death, she created an imaginary friend named Laura. So is she dealing with the problem or is she avoiding it? That would be a flight response. This one's a little bit tricky. But if she was dealing with the problem, then she would grieve properly. Instead, she's kind of doing something to replace her mother's passing. Okay, so how can we cope with stress? Obviously, we feel stressed. We could exercise. We can take a bath. We can give ourselves a pep talk. We can write in a journal, clean, play with animals, listen to music, create a plan or a schedule, especially if it's in school and you're overwhelmed because of school. Figure out when you're going to do something and when. These are obviously just some ways that we can deal with stress. There are other things out there that we can do. However, you have to find what helps to decompress yourself and deal with those issues. So I did want to talk about this because on the first page when I was like, tally how many things cause stress, I said like going on a vacation, things like that. Like that is stressful, but it is a good type of stress because like going on a vacation is fun. So not all stress is negative. You do need to know the difference between distress, which is negative stress. This is that stress that can make you sick and stop you from achieving your goals. But there's also something called eustress, and this is positive stress that energizes you and helps you achieve your goals. So yes, it might be stressful, but it's for a good result. So distress is bad, eustress is good. So some examples of eustress would be getting married, planning a wedding is stressful, starting a new job is stressful, but for a good cause. Playing a sport, if you play a sport, like before, like a competition or a game or a match or whatever, you can feel that stress. Going on a date, riding a roller coaster, and then I'm sure all of you are in this boat right now where you're learning how to drive. It's for a good reason, but you're definitely going to experience that stress in the beginning. So stress can make you physically ill, so be sure that you are aware of that. Make sure that you are doing things to stop yourself from it advancing to that point. First thing you should do is use effective coping skills. Find out what works for you when you're feeling stressed and use those methods. Get enough sleep at night. This is very important. A lot of people tend to not get the proper amount of sleep. That helps our body rejuvenate, and then get a handle on it before it becomes a problem. So you know that you're stressed, you know it's a problem, get a handle on it, use those coping mechanisms and things like that. You can see the effect of stress. This is Abraham Lincoln during his presidency, 1860, 1865. You can see physically his face looks much older, probably from the stress of his presidency. So what you are going to do for today's assignment, which I kind of feel bad because this would usually be like in person, so you could draw on paper, which is what I did down here. However, you are going to be doing it online, so I'm going to explain to you how you do that. It's similar to your shoe assignment that you did. Basically, there are things that cause you stress in your life. You're going to say what your big stress, medium stress, and little stress is, and then you're going to tell me 3 ways that you cope with the stresses in your life. So if I go here, this is the assignment that I have pulled up. You click the attached assignment, and it is going to pull up this activity that I just explained. And what you're going to do is you will click File, Make a Copy, so that you can edit the slides. Obviously, you can't edit them if it's not yours, so making a copy makes you able to do that. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to think of your big stress. So where this giant bubble is, you're going to think of what causes you the most stress. So I'm going to sit here and I'll say, I don't know, probably, I'd say money. So I think money is the most stressful for me, paying for a wedding, paying for your bills, paying for all that. So money is a big stressor for me. So in this circle, I would paste an image of money saying that money is my biggest stress. And then I can write something if I want to. You don't have to if it's pretty self-explanatory. But paying for bills, wedding, etc. That is my biggest stress. Now, I need to know if it is a good stress or a bad stress. Now, usually you can see here, I could outline like how much of a stress it is. It'll be harder here for sure. Shapes. So I'll probably do this. I'd say, to me, this is mostly good stress because like if I'm spending money, I have a house, like I have a job. So like this would be good stress. Oops. Order, send it back. So it's mostly good stress. And then, but I can say it's also bad. So basically you need to like distinguish, how much stress this causes you. Now you can do that. I could write in here, because we're not doing it on paper, I could write 75% eustress. This is mostly good, but 25% is distress, just because paying for all of those things can be overwhelming. So then I'll do the same thing. You don't have to worry about doing the bubble unless you want to color it, but most of you probably won't know how to do that. Next, what causes me stress? I would say grading papers does cause me stress because it's overwhelming. So then I would copy a photo of this. I would put it, where does that fit for me? I would probably say it's little, but probably medium, just because it's a lot. So then I can say why. So I would put here I'd say it's 80% distress, just because it's time consuming, overwhelming, but it is 20% eustress, positive stress, because I get feedback on what you have learned, like you as students. Perfect. Now I need to do a smaller one, so I would say probably my dog causes me a little stress. I have a bulldog, so I'll put a picture of him here. And then I can obviously put those numbers there as well. So then I could say, I would probably say 90% positive. However, there is distress because he can be bad. Okay, so those are things that cause me stress. And then in this little stop sign, I am going to put 3 things that I do to stop my stress. So whenever I'm feeling stressed, what do I do? I'm gonna put a TV, because I love to watch TV when I'm feeling stressed. I just want to sit on my couch and watch TV. So I can put a TV in there. What else? I like to sleep when I'm stressed. Just kind of shut everything out, go to bed. And then another thing I like to do when I'm feeling stressed is talk on the phone. Like, I like to vent to people about what I'm stressed about. So then I can put this image. Copy and paste, and boom, now you have your assignment complete and you get 10 points. You submit it on Canvas. Make sure that you are saying 3 things you do to stop your stress, doing your small, medium, and big stress, and explaining if it's positive or negative and why. Those are the expectations, okay? If you have any questions about this assignment, I'm sorry that this lecture is so long, but it technically is an in-class lecture, so it makes sense. If you have any questions, you can email me. I'm just sitting at home. If not, then we're fine with that. All right, thanks, guys.